Where's the safety on this thing? Yeah. Oh, well, hello there, friends. This season, we've shown a lot of love to interesting people from several generations, backgrounds, and walks of life. People with stories so insane, it's hard to believe they happened. Today's entry into the legendary list of violent but true stories is no exception. Let's go back to the Korean War and talk about one of the most incredible last stands in history. Let me tell you about Jack G. Hanson. Born in September 1930 in Mississippi, Jack was much too young to fight in World War II. But in June of 1951, America was once again embroiled in conflict, this time against the communists in the Korean Peninsula. And young Hanson was 20 by this time, old enough to get some, and get some he did. There's a lot you can expect out of 20-year-old PFCs. You know, showing up to the wrong formation in the wrong uniform, 45 minutes too late, because he got held up during a civil union with Tammy from the local titty bar. But this was 1951, and there were no strippers to confuse young Hanson. Only hordes of commie pricks to violently machete in the dick. We'll talk more about that later. Deployed to the area near Pakidong, Dongtown, Korea.
First you fight for the right, and to build a nation's might, and the army goes rolling along.
No, just keep going. You see, we had kicked the asses of the North Korean forces so hard that Kim Il-sung had to call Big Mac Daddy Mao for help. So Mao did what every communist would do, throw millions of starving soldiers at their enemy until they ran out of ammunition or just gave up. The PLA hordes poured over the border and overran the UN forces, who were in headlong retreat towards the 38th parallel. The orders to the coalition troops were simple and desperate. Dig in and hold at all costs. Enter the 31st Infantry Regiment. Hyperextended into a thin line, the commander realized that his unit was in no shape to hold against another mass assault from the PLA and North Korean forces. Hanson was all the way at the front. As a machine gunner, he was slinging lead up and down the line, changing hearts and minds with his M1917 Browning machine gun. Hanson saw the writing on the wall from his position. As clear as day, if I move from this hole, we're all going to die. When a surviving NCO asked Hanson to pull back, he made a fateful decision. He would stay back, hold the enemy until the wounded were evacuated, and then fall back on his own. But understand something, this guy just wrote his own death warrant, and he knew it. The enemy, sensing the slacking of resistance in front of them, decided to go for broke. They sent all of their men in. Under the cover of darkness, they infiltrated forward as the coalition troops withdrew to the adjacent hill, seeking to spring their assault when they were so close to the Allies that their artillery would be useless. It could have worked, except they ran into Hanson and his machine gun in the darkness. No one actually witnessed the following events, but we do know that at some point Hanson ran out of ammunition and was left with nothing but a .45 and a machete. Easy enough, the commies are thinking at this point. Well, they're dead wrong. When grenades failed to kill Hanson outright, they charged his foxhole with bayonets, with the intent of airing out Hanson's internal organs. Instead, they ran into a machete-wielding maniac. I've never seen anyone get killed with a machete personally. No, that's a lie. That's a story for another time. So with that being said, flash forward a couple of days. The Americans launched a counterattack and retook the position Hanson was last seen in. So what did they find? Well, Hanson in his foxhole, dead as a doornail. A .45 in one hand, a bloody machete in the other, and 22 dead Koreans in and around his fighting position, in varying states of gruesome disembowelment. Hanson's lone man defense delayed the enemy by hours. Crucial hours that allowed for the battered American forces to resupply and reinforce their position. Well, that's better than any NFL story I ever heard. Jack Hanson was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. And that more people don't know his story is a goddamn tragedy.